My name is Meerah, and I'm a Lorekeeper in one of Yogg-Sothoth's libraries, and welcome to Lovecrafting with Meerah, a series where I get comfy and do crafty stuff. So last year I taught myself how to rebind books, specifically like used and well-loved paperbacks, into unique cloth-bound books that like fit my aesthetic. I've done a few since I started learning how to do these, and I thought it would be fun or interesting or whatever if I did like a small video just explaining the process of binding books. First, let's talk supplies. You'll need a book press, a cutting mat, a 90-degree ruler, scissors, glue, pH neutrals preferred, but honestly I just use Mod Podge, a bone folder, fabric pins or fabric paint, gilding paint for the pages, paintbrushes, cardstock, fabric, spine fabric, headbands, ribbons, metal book corners, book boards, and sandpaper. These are just supplies that I use. Obviously you don't have to use what I use. There's a lot of ways that you can bind books, and there are a lot of better, more professional tutorials out there. I want to reiterate that I am self-taught and that I don't rebind like special or collectible books that have been signed by the author, first editions, etc. I was like a librarian in real life for a few years, and I would never do anything to hurt a book. I kind of see what I've been doing as more like rehabilitation. I take mostly like gross and used paperbacks from thrift stores and rebind them to my liking for my collection. Kind of giving them like a second life, I guess. For this tutorial, can you even call it that? For this tutorial, I'm doing Emma by Jane Austen, and I found this really cute purple fabric that I love. I started using an embroidered ribbon for the bookmark, but ended up switching to a basic purple ribbon like halfway through because it just felt a little busy next to the cover fabric. First things first, fold the cardstock and cut it out the same as the book. Then you cut the headbands the same width as the spine, and the ribbon slightly longer than the length of the spine. Yoink the original paperback cover off the text block, and then sand down the spine and pages. This is just to clean things up, and it helps everything glue down a lot better. Then glue your desired cardstock on there, just the tip, and then you'll glue the ribbon to the spine. Make sure the book is not upside down when you do this. Then glue the headbands on. After that, you want to secure all this down with your spine fabric. I use like Lineco's special spine fabric, but honestly any kind of like thin fabric will work. It's just to help it hold together better. After that's dried, you can put it in the book press and paint the gilding on the page edges. It takes about 45 to 60 minutes for that to dry, so while it's doing that, you can cut out the book cover casing. I make this little like cardstock hinge thing and use this 3D printed 2mm spacer that just helps my chaos brain out a bit with figuring out like how far away the spine should be from the covers. It's not necessary, but it's definitely helpful for me personally. You cut slits in the fabric and glue it to the casing. Once the gilding is dry comes the longest part of this entire process, where I individually separate each individual page. Once that's done, I glue the cardstock to the casing, shove it back in the book press, and usually leave it overnight. Oh, and when you put it in the book press, make sure the spine is sticking out because it'll get crushed in the press if you don't do that. The point of this like setting period is just to make sure that the cardstock glues properly to the casing. I put like scrap cardstock in between just to make sure that everything stays separated and stuff doesn't like glue together, you know? And that's like really it. I hope this wasn't too boring or confusing. I had a lot of trial and error teaching myself how to do this. I originally tried foil transfer sheets for the gilding, and I could not get that to work no matter what I did. And I originally used like a box knife and an X-Acto knife for cutting things, but I have an anxiety disorder that causes my hands to be like really shaky and unsteady, and that unsteadiness ended up with me injuring myself quite a few times. I probably should have gotten stitches a couple times, but alas, I did not because I don't have the money for a doctor. Anyway, so now I use scissors instead, and I switched to gilding paint because I could consistently get it to work, whereas the foil would like kind of work, but most of the time it didn't, so I just gave up on that method. I have seen a lot of people use foil for gilding, and it looks really nice, but for some reason it just does not want to work for me. I like paint more control that way. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time here in the library.